Don't know how easy it is for you to see the little rectangles in each of my glasses lenses there, but it's actually very, very cool. And with this electrochromic dimming, I can block you out, and I've just got my screen there, so I'm doing a proper super SAF right now. So let's talk about these bad boys. What's new with the Pro version? What do these actually do? Is it worth spending your hard-earned money on? Well, I'll answer the third question first. Probably yes, actually. I take these everywhere with me. When I'm on trains and planes, when I want to watch movies, when I want to have my laptop open but there isn't enough room on the tray table on the bloody plane. Basically, any device that has a USB-C port and supports display out will work with these. Games consoles, phones, laptops, tablets, all that good stuff. And you then put them on your face, obviously, and you have a big old screen right in front of you. I've done this in previous videos, but it's basically like having, I don't know, your phone about there actually, because the field of view is bigger with these new ones. There's lots of marketing spiel about having a big, immersive, cinematic display on your face, but that kind of is the case actually. And it can go up to 441 inches, I think it is. Realistically, what you're going to use is about 150 to 160 inches at a 4-meter distance. That's how it appears to you in here. So yeah, like a big old screen here for watching your movies, doing your work. These are not AR glasses. There's no augmented reality here. It's basically just mirroring the display that you're plugging it into. But that is why I love these. And of course, there is competition from the Ray Neos, the Rockets, the even Realities with their G1. There are some good rivals to these, but for me, these are the best. So the latest Xreals are part of this One series. You've got the One and also now these One Pros. And these are quite a substantial upgrade. We have a wider field of view. They've bumped it from 50 degrees to 57 degrees. And actually, it does make quite a difference to just how much space is filled up in front of you before you start clipping the edges. They're also brighter, 700 nits versus 600 nits on the regular ones. The frames are also slightly thinner. They've actually redesigned something in here to reduce glare, and actually I've definitely noticed that. One of my issues with basically all previous Xreals is the kind of glare that comes up underneath reflecting off the lenses. So with these, I'm not getting almost any of that kind of horrible lens flare that I had before. And together with the higher brightness, wider field of view, for me, these are a substantial improvement, even over the current Xreal ones, if I'm honest. But if you've got any previous generation, if you've never used one, for me, this is the time to jump in. The downside, of course, being the Pros, is that they are a bit more expensive. We're talking sort of 550 quid-ish. There is a discounted sort of pre-order period for a couple of weeks up until the end of June, so they're definitely not cheap, and it gets even more expensive when you add in this guy. This is the brand new Xreal Eye, and I actually tried to pull this out on the train the other day, and it flicked off halfway down the carriage, and I had to make some friends to try and get it back. This tiny little thing is kind of their answer to the Meta Ray-Bans. It's a little bit fiddly actually because of how small it is. Normally there's just a rubber seal if you're not using it. And this does support both the regular Xreal ones and the Pros. It's a 12 megapixel sensor and you can get some pretty decent shots out of it. It's 1600 by 1200, so we're talking 4:3 aspect ratios, very similar to the Meta Ray-Bans, although I would say the Metas are slightly higher quality. And so if you just press this little button up here, it takes a photo. I'm not sure if you can hear that little shutter sound. It's in my ears. We have Bose speakers on these guys, same as the regular Xreal ones. A long press starts the recording, which by default is only 15 seconds, but if you double press this little button under here, it brings up the menu for everything. Actually, there's a lot you can play around with. You can switch between different spatial modes, which I'll talk about in a second, but then also under the quick button settings, you can change the frame rate between 30 and 60 FPS, and you can change the video recording time up to 60 seconds. All right, we are filming this with the Eye on the Xreal One Pro. Hello. This maybe isn't the safest way of driving, but I can fully see through my glasses. I see a little cross hair kind of framing for where the video is. I've set it to 60 seconds, so I've got 35 seconds left. I would say the quality isn't quite as good as the Ray-Bans, and also you do need power for this. There is no built-in battery, but my device doesn't have to be on. This is actually plugged into my iPhone right now, but it's not showing me the screen. And I could technically be using the iPhone in its sort of side view where it's at the top corner of my view for navigation, but it's not on, but it is powering the glasses. How often would I use this? I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually picking up dinner for myself and Mrs. Tech Chap, so thanks for coming along for the ride. I am now going to take these off because I might get a few looks in the restaurant as I collect the food. Bye! And then when you want to get your photos and videos off the glasses, you actually have to put them into transmission mode, then plug them into your phone or laptop, open up the Xreal's camera folder, and then drag them across. It's a little bit old-fashioned. It doesn't just wirelessly transfer or upload them. And you also only have 2 GB of internal storage, which can fill up quite fast. I'm not entirely sure how often I would use this as a camera, but what it also unlocks is this 6 degrees of freedom. So normally, with your glasses like that, you've got 2 spatial display options, okay? You've got follow, where the screen will follow you around as you tilt your head and move around, that sort of thing. You've then got anchor mode, where it fixes the screen in one place, so then you can look around and it just stays there, so I can see everything else, but then the screen will stay there. But if I move around, it'll also move with me. However, when you plug in your optional extra £100 Xreal Eye, it unlocks what's called 6DoF. So now you have spatial anchor. And this is more like what you get on, say, the Apple Vision Pro, where you can spatially anchor a screen, whether it's your phone, your laptop, whatever it is, walk away, you can go have a cup of tea, you can come back, and it's in the same place. Are those things worth £100 to you? I don't know, maybe start with the glasses and then see how you get on. It actually feels kind of weird talking to you on camera wearing these because you can't really see me. And that's partly because of this electrochromic dimming. Now, we've had this for a couple of generations with the Xreals now, but I think it's still absolutely fantastic. There's basically 3 different levels. This is the most transparent, then you've got the second level, and then you've got the third level, which cuts out the most light. So I can see my windows, very, very bright things come through, but of course, because these are not proper VR, AR glasses where I'm in a headset, I still have my periphery around me. So I can see if someone comes to the door, I can see my hands below me here. This maybe looks kind of weird on camera. But this makes all the difference for when you've got your screens in front of you and to not have a distracting background. But as I mentioned earlier, the Pros do have a slightly redesigned lens system here, which does significantly reduce glare. And actually that is probably the most underrated upgrade with these new Pros. So dual micro OLEDs, they're 1080p, 120Hz. They have a TUV Rhineland low blue light and flicker-free certification, so they're more comfortable for your eyes, and given that you're looking at a big old screen here, that's quite important. And the quality is amazing. I maybe should have started the video, talked about this earlier. You will be blown away by how good these look. Even compared to previous generations, the stability of the image is not just like flickering constantly, it's like rock solid, whichever mode you're using. No motion sickness whatsoever, very, very low latency, so everything feels fast. The fact that you can change it between follow, anchor, spatial anchor with the eye, you've got different options for where you want things around you. You've got side view, so then that shrinks the screen to one corner, like top left, top right. There's an ultra wide mode, which I love, and basically gives you a 32:9 ultra wide curved display, which is fantastic for using with your Mac or your PC. Because of the 57-degree field of view, you do have to look left and right a little bit to actually see the edges of the screen, but then you would anyway if you had a super ultra wide display. I tested this with Amazon Video, Netflix, Disney, Apple TV, iPlayer. They all worked and streamed from my phone to the glasses. So from my PlayStation to my laptop to my phone, both iPhone and Android, my Steam Deck, everything worked perfectly. Sadly, however, it does not seem to work with the Switch 2. In either the top or bottom USB-Cs, it just says there's no input for the glasses. So clearly these don't support display out, or there's some firmware issue between the two, but yeah, why to play the Switch? My main kind of feedback with the image quality is that the image isn't quite as sharp in the periphery, and also there's quite a bit of chromic aberration where you've got sort of purple and blues and reds kind of shimmering a little bit with fine text. Generally with watching movies and videos and things, not a problem. And I would still be happy to write a script on this and look at all my notes on a white Google Doc background, not a problem at all, but it's not as crisp as, say, an Apple Vision Pro or looking directly at your screen. It's close, but this does still have a touch of that fuzziness. We also have built-in speakers. These are tuned by Bose, and actually they sound pretty good, and impressively don't really have much spill. But still, I tend to wear these with a pair of AirPods just to give me more of that immersive experience. I also really appreciate that when I have the glasses hooked up, I then can turn my screen off to save power, and it's also better for privacy, no one can see what I'm working on. And because the screen is then off, it'll save some battery power, although of course you are still powering the glasses. But then what if you want to charge your phone or device and it only has one USB-C? Well, that is where the Xreal Hub comes in. This little 2-in-1 USB-C adapter, one port for the glasses, another for whatever you're using to charge it, and then you can plug that into your device. Very nifty, although it is an optional extra. Are they comfortable? Yeah, I think so. They weigh 87 grams, and you also have 3 different sizes of these nose pads, so you can switch those out. But they do also flex a little bit, so you can kind of like mold them to your nose. When you put them on, you really don't feel any immediate pressure or weight on your face. They are quite comfortable, but I suppose after maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I do find myself just moving them about a little bit, sort of pushing the nose pads over a little bit, and then maybe after watching an episode of a TV show, I take them off and I've got a little bit of a redness here. It's very similar just to wearing a pair of sunglasses, but for what you're getting with this, they are very comfortable, and you're not going to come out as sweaty and horrible looking as you would if you spent the same amount of time in a Vision Pro headset. Oh, actually, and another exclusive feature to the Pros is that they come in 2 sizes, a medium and a large, based on the interpupillary distance, I think how wide your eyes are. So if you've got a big old head with wide eyes, you might want to go for the large version, and this is the only Xreal product that has that option, and you can measure your IPD online. I would definitely recommend these. I think they're fantastic. This video is not sponsored at all. They sent these for review, but that was it. But particularly if I'm traveling for a long time, having these is a big help. But what do you reckon? Are they worth it? Would you be tempted to buy a pair of these? Let me know in the comments below, and also how you would actually use these.